I'll never forget interviewing Little Elvis in 2002. Now, he's my coworker. Finn Harrison was beyond cute as he did the Jailhouse Rock as a 2.5-year-old. Now he's all grown up and still has a little Elvis in his soul. This is Tracy Briggs. Welcome to Back Then, sponsored this week by Discover Jamestown. To learn more, go to discoverjamestownnd.com. After nearly 35 years in the news business, some stories just stick with you. For me, it's 9/11, the flood of 97, and the 2.5-year-old Elvis impersonator. Yes, for real. Of course, now it's easy to remember the major news events, but I also remember that day in August of 2002 when I walked into Marguerite's Music in Moorhead to meet Finn Harrison, a toddler with all the moves and an Elvis Presley obsession worthy of a 1-minute 30-second package on the 6 o'clock news.
And photojournalist Brian Celine with the story.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big welcome for Finn Harrison as Elvis Presley.
While many moms might take their 2-year-olds to Toys R Us for a good time, Amy Harrison brings her son Finn to Marguerite's Music.
Mama, do first we get there.
I mostly remember how adorable Finn was when he broke into Jailhouse Rock and Hound Dog, and even the way he left the room with a thank you very much. But of course, life moved on. I left WDAY for my job at the Forum, where I did hundreds of other stories. But then one day, earlier this summer, I received an email from a Forum Communications colleague, and memories of Little Elvis came rushing back, like fans storming the stage. Here's what it said. Hi, Tracy. I thought you might be interested in seeing this old story I found that you did at WDAY about 19 or 20 years ago. I showed it to Kevin, Dana, and Kirsten, and some of the other folks in the newsroom, and they all seemed to really enjoy it. Best, Finn Harrison. What? That Finn Harrison toddler Elvis? You better believe it, Mama. Finn is now 22 and working as a videographer at WDAY, which is part of Forum Communications along with the Forum. When he got the job at the station, his dad reminded him that it was WDAY, his new employer, who had done that story on him in 2002 during the 25th anniversary of Elvis's death.
Yep, it was in the basement. It was like tucked up in like a shelf next to a bunch of Elvis tapes.
Oh, that's funny. Right along with the movies.
Yep.
He figured, given his access to the right equipment at WDAY, he could digitize that old VCR tape so his family could more easily save it. But when the video of him as Little Elvis started playing on the monitor, his coworker, reporter Kevin Wallivan, noticed, and then he grabbed anchors Dana Mock and Kirsten Keeley, who were the ones that read that story on the newscast 20 years ago.
The crowd, like as I pulled it up for like Kevin and some like other people that were near, and then they pulled it through, and then I think it was like Nick Broadway who he was like right after the 6 was done. So Dana and Kirsten come upstairs, and then Kevin was like, "You guys gotta see this."
Kirsten Keeley picks up the story from here. She said, "They had us just watch without telling us why we were watching or what we were watching. Then all of a sudden, we heard that first line in your story. While many moms might take their 2-year-olds to Toys R Us for a good time, Amy Harrison brings her son Finn to Marguerite's Music. When we heard Harrison and Finn, I think our mouths dropped to the floor," Kirsten said.
They just like, "Oh, local boy Finn Harrison," and then they're like, "That's you," and then
It's pretty surreal for everybody involved. Kirsten said, "I think we oohed and awed about how cute he was and all those cool Elvis moves. Then honestly, my reaction was, does Tracy know you're working here? You have to call her." So after receiving Finn's email, I decided I better do a very overdue follow-up story, 20 years in the making. We both looked a little older. He wasn't wearing his Elvis costume, but he still has a definite Elvis air about him, from the clothes he wears to that little swirl in his hair right on his forehead.
Yeah. Like as soon as I was able to, I grew sideburns.
He said he remembers his Elvis days really well, even dressing like Elvis several Halloweens in a row.
I was fat Elvis because I was a chubby baby. And then I think the year after that, I was comeback special Elvis, and then after that was Jailhouse Rock. And I think there might have been one year where I was like Vegas tour or something like that, or like Vegas residency.
He said he was Elvis obsessed because It's all he watched when he was little. Some his age had The Wiggles and the Disney Channel. He had Viva Las Vegas and King Creole. Finn thinks his Elvis obsession waned by about the time he was 5 years old, but he still retained his love of music, learning guitar and playing in bands in high school. He graduated from Moorhead High School in 2018 and early from MSUM in 2020. Unlike toddler Finn, 2022 Finn isn't likely to wear Elvis's leather pants from 68 or the sparkly jumpsuits from 77 these days, or break into song while editing a story for the newscast on WDAY. But Kirsten says, "It still makes me smile and feel good that we have little Elvis in our midst every day." So Elvis might not be the first thing you see about Finn anymore, but he's definitely in there somewhere.
I still love Elvis. I mean, he's the king. I think it really is like a testament to that there's a movie about him that came out this year. People still listen to and love his music, and like the success of the movie, I think, really shows that it still connects with people.
So thanks again to Finn Harrison for taking the time to send me that email. I would love it if any of you listening to this podcast, if I did a story on you many, many years ago and we want to do a fun little follow-up, shoot me an email. It's so much fun. And with this Back Then column, that's what it's about. We're trying to kind of relive the past a little bit, rehash history a little bit, have some fun. So again, shoot me an email if you have a fun follow-up story on an old story that I did, whether it involves you or not. My email address is Tracy, that's TRACY, .Briggs, BRIGGS, @formcom.com, and I would love to hear from you. So thanks again for listening to the podcast, brought to us this week by Discover Jamestown. To learn more, go to discoverjamestownd.com. Forum Communications is proud to be part of The Trust Project. Learn more at thetrustproject.org.